Welcome to the very first writing prompt narration. I'm Sirpinkbeard, and today's story has 3 parts and comes from Reddit user Dragonblazer, and from a writing prompt where the main character is perfect in every way, but the narrator hates him with a burning passion. Part 1. There was a hero. Okay, maybe not a hero, a protagonist. Yeah, a protagonist. His name was Jason, named after one of the greatest heroes in Greek history, because why the fuck not? It says here he was a master of all weapons, but really, what is the use knowing how to use every weapon? I mean, seriously, is anybody going to be wielding more than one weapon at a time? Wait, did Jason just pick up 2 swords? God, he just demolished that bandit camp with nothing but his pathetic bare chest and 2 swords. Way to undermine your friends, asshole. My comrades, Jason said boringly. Like true warriors, you have shown great courage by walking with me today. While we attain victory, there is still much more to be done. Yet, we do not forget to celebrate what we have achieved. Hail yourselves, fighters! The men around him started cheering rapturously at his pathetic display of macho-ness. They banged their weapons on the ground, probably to drown him out so they could get on with their business. Chants of Jason, Jason resounded, probably to sarcastically complain about him, or something like that. Jason proceeded to kneel on his right knee, head bowed. He dropped his 2 swords by his side before crossing his arms over his chest, and then proceeded to say a silent prayer. Gods, I understand you work in mysterious ways. My strength means nothing without my conviction, so please understand that this victory is yours. Ugh! After this self-righteous display, Jason went on to tend the wounded, disturbing their rest by talking to them, holding their hands, and generally pissing on their egos by saying callously, "Do not worry, we won. Rest well and may the gods guide you." Obviously, words meant to hurt and degrade their exclusion from the fight. Seriously, what a high-grade piece of ass. Really, every story about Jason is sincerely pathetic to even say, let alone live out. Oh, but there was this one time where he managed to save Princess Zarina from the Black Dragon. Part 2. Right, where was I? Yes, Princess Zarina. To give you some backstory, Princess Zarina is the fairest of them all. Or, in a more colloquial speak, she was so hot that everybody who ever met her wanted to take her hand. In a manner of speaking, of course. But, of fucking course, just like all princesses are wont to do, she ended up getting kidnapped by the ancient Black Dragon. Now, how? How did that happen, with all the thousands of enchantments and guards that are literally by her side day and night? I don't know. I just narrate. I'm not omniscient. All I know is that some way, somehow, Princess Zarina ended up in the ugly Stygian claws of the Black Dragon. The king, of course, offered her hand in marriage to anybody who could rescue her. Keep in mind that this is the princess that has probably rejected every person, man or woman, that's ever come to her because none of them were good enough. Except for fucking Jason! But we'll get to that in a minute, because he's the hero of the story, or yada yada. So yeah, the king offered her hand in blatant disrespect of a woman's right to choose. But kings, am I right? And so many tried. First, they stormed the Black Dragon's keep alone, eager to take the hand of the fairest maiden in the land. Not to mention the several bonuses like a surefire way to riches and royalty. Obviously, the Black Dragon starts with capital letters because it's a real bona fide badass. Which meant that those who went alone either ended up as charred as the dragon's skin or returned with a severe case of never want to fight a fucking dragon again itis. Those brave enough to overcome the tragic disease proceeded to gather into parties, obviously complicating the king's offer with polygamy and whatnot. The king was still more concerned with getting his daughter back alive, however, so this was a problem he would ponder over wide awake late at night. An unhealthy combination of worry about Princess Serina's state of life and how to satisfy a party of roving, presumably perverse people with just 2 Princess Serina hands. Fortunately, the second question never had to be answered, as the Black Dragon turned more lives to ash. And then, Jason, a cursed, goddamn Jason, walked up to the king and promised to bring Princess Serina back home safe and sound. The king had heard those words time and time again, but there was something different from the way Jason carried himself. "My king, the gods have led me here when Her Royal Highness is in grave danger," Jason said with poor enunciation. "I swear on my life that I will slay the Black Dragon where it stands and bring Princess Serina back into the kingdom of Sonnenheim." The king had heard of Jason because the protagonist's foul deeds travel far and wide with lousy songs from traveling bards and salacious slander in taverns. In obvious distrust, the king's regal words rang across the throne room. "Esteemed hero Jason, do not hesitate to ask for any help. Whether it's the best soldiers from my army or the finest goods in my armory, I shall personally see to your request." "My king, I have no need for men or armor. The gods guide my blades and me, and I trust in them even when fighting against the fearsome Black Dragon," Jason said meekly, false bravado swelling in his small and ugly chest. And just like that, Jason set off on a perilous journey, hopefully falling into a ditch and dying. Unfortunately, Jason, the esteemed hero, did nothing of the sort. Part 3. Jason stood in front of the Black Dragon's keep. He looked disgustingly bloody, disgustingly dirty, and disgustingly tired, having encountered no fewer than 5 direwolves, brutally murdering them just because they growled at him gently and tried to nuzzle him with their teeth. He also stopped in a village where he somehow managed to improve the town's economy, healthcare, and fighting force in a single night's stay, dooming the entire village to eternally peaceful life without ever asking for their permission. The audacity of this man! So, Jason stood in front of the Black Dragon's keep. The millennia-old Black Dragon has acquired a taste for the finer things in life, repurposing an old, abandoned castle into its lair. While it's certainly fallen into disrepair, there was no better protection and decor than the imposing aura emanating from the building, courtesy of the dragon's intimidating presence. And body odor, probably. Yet, Jason seemed fearless as he faced down the door because he also has terrible body odor. He knelt down, put down his dual swords, and prayed again before embarking to certain doom. Hopefully. "Gods, thank you for leading me to the presence of this vile beast. While the Black Dragon has terrorized the land, I am certain that no heart is irredeemable. May the gods guide me," Jason said with a severe case of halitosis. Without ceremony, Jason struck down the door with his weak and puny arms. A foreboding voice resounded from within the keep.
"Jason, the hero of Sonnenheim."
The dragon boomed, a voice capable of striking fear into any. Not Jason, though, because he was too dense to understand its words.
"You may have battled powerful foes, but none like me. Come forth and meet your end."
Jason let his grotesque nose and ears lead the way, letting his hunter's sense take over. He instinctively crouched down into a hideous and hunchbacked form, taking care not to make noise with his footfalls. Seconds, minutes, an hour, every step Jason took, he could feel himself stalking closer to a great evil. But he pressed on. Navigating the old, dilapidated keep was an arduous task, But a good 2 hours later, he found himself in front of a door that would have been beautifully engraved 100 years ago. Now it was just a ramshackle, ugly door falling off its hinges, barely concealing the dark existence waiting within. Jason closed his eyes for a moment, willed himself not to wet himself, and kicked the door open. Jason took a step into a long hallway, stretching further than he would have thought possible. He could see flame marking practically every inch of the room, along with the ashes of fallen adventurers lucky enough to still have their remnants in the material realm. At the far end of the room, he saw steps leading up to a raised dais, and Princess Zarina sitting on a derelict throne. Right behind her was the sulking black dragon. A giant red eye opened, looking straight into Jason's eyes. With a deafening roar, the black dragon reared to its full height, head grazing the tall 15-foot ceiling.
Foolish Jason.
The black dragon's guttural voice resounded in Jason's small brain.
You plan to strike me down alone? This is your best effort?
No, Jason said drearingly. I came to talk. He let his blades fall onto the ground, walking stupidly into the belly of the beast. The black dragon laughed.
Talk? Talk?
The dragon roared right into Jason's face, and Jason continued walking. Talk. First off, how are you? Sometime later, a castle guard ran, panicked, into the throne room of the Kingdom of Sonnenheim. She ran right in, sliding into a kneeling position with nary a pause, and the king looked at her in mild surprise and with much annoyance.
My king, I'm sorry for the intrusion, but the black dragon is flying towards the castle!
What?
The king rushed off the throne, up to the west-facing guard tower, and he saw the great wings of the black dragon flapping in the wind. Before the king said a single command, every archer in the castle had raised their bows and pointed it towards the titanic beast.
I come in peace, King of Sonnenheim.
The black dragon roared.
Your champion and your princess are sitting right on my back.
The king, perhaps not considering that it was even a trap, ordered the archers not to fire. The black dragon flew closer and closer, and indeed 2 humans sat upon its back. The black dragon landed atop the tower, its tail crashing into the rock walls as it did so. Yet nobody made a sound. For indeed, horrible Jason and the beautiful Princess Zarina sat upon the black dragon's back. Then cheers ran out for the safe return of the gorgeous princess. Jason's warty hand let the princess down from the dragon before she ran towards the king and engulfed him in a tight embrace. The king wept, the soldiers cheered. The princess, however, felt something beating in her heart. For once, she had found a person worthy of her love, and she conveyed her feelings to her father. The king was relieved, for if you recall, you would remember that the king had already promised her hand to whoever managed to bring her back. The king instantly agreed, of course, and bade Jason forward. Jason walked up and knelt before the king and princess. Jason, champion of Sonnenheim, Princess Zarina has spoken, and she has agreed to your proposal to take her hand, and the 2 of you are to be wedded at once. I'm sorry, Princess Zarina, but I have to refuse, Jason said, actually daring to refuse the prettiest person in the entire kingdom. You see, I am betrothed to my first love, who is tending to our cozy cottage in my home village of Woolhope.
What the fuck?
Princess Zarina could not contain her dainty, wonderful lips. And so ends the tale of Filthy Jason, the pushover black dragon, and the enchanting Princess Zarina. Biased storytelling? What do you mean biased? Hey y'all, if you like this story, let me know by smashing that like button and leaving me a note in the comments below. And if you want to hear more from this author, feel free to check out their blog and or subreddit in the description. I'm Sir Pinkbeard, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.